She looked me dead in the eye and said she was disgusted. What my dad and I were doing was inappropriate. That she couldn't believe we'd carry on like that in a hospital. But here's the kicker, I'm his daughter. And now she's out of a job. My mom thinks I ruined her life. HR says I did the right thing. And my dad? He just looks ashamed. So, be honest, am I wrong for reporting a rumor that got a nurse fired? This isn't just a workplace drama, it's a morality minefield. I want your honest judgment. Would you have gone to HR or let it slide? I'm 27 years old, and I work as a hospital social worker in a small but busy hospital tucked away in our Midwestern town. It's not glamorous, but I love my job. Challenging, heartbreaking, rewarding, sometimes all in the same hour. My role mostly revolves around discharge planning, working closely with patients and their families to figure out next steps, especially for those who are elderly or need extra support after leaving the hospital. But the part of this job that people don't warn you about? It's the emotional residue you carry home. That invisible weight that clings to your skin after sitting with a dying patient or calming down a family in crisis. The one person who's always understood this is my dad because he works here too. He's a charge nurse in the emergency department and to many a sort of legend around the hospital. Known for his calm under pressure, his deep care for his patients, and his annoying dad jokes that somehow even the toughest trauma techs laugh at. We don't usually work the same hours, but occasionally our paths cross. That's what happened a few weeks ago, the day this whole thing started unraveling. It was a hectic Friday. I'd been running around trying to coordinate placement for an elderly patient with dementia who had no family and nowhere to go. I'd spent nearly 2 hours on the phone with various care homes, navigating waiting lists, insurance complications, and the usual red tape. At the end of my shift, I stopped by the ER to update the chart in person. That's where I saw my dad mid-conversation with another nurse, coffee in hand, laughing about something. I waved and walked over. We chatted briefly about how dinner plans were still on. I hugged him goodbye, which, is normal for us. My dad and I are close. Not in a creepy way, just close. He hugged me, said, "Don't be late," and I joked, "Only if you're paying. I'm ordering the most expensive steak on the menu." We both laughed and I walked off. I didn't know that someone else had been watching and interpreting everything very, very differently. There was a new nurse on the ER team. I'd seen her around but hadn't worked directly with her. From what I'd gathered, she was still in her probationary period, less than 90 days into the job. Let's call her Nurse Newbie, or NN for short. NN was standing at the nurse's station during my exchange with my dad. She didn't recognize me. She didn't know who I was or that the man she just saw hug me was my father. And this is where it gets messy. Instead of, asking anyone or minding her own business, NN decided that what she'd witnessed was an affair between a married man and some hospital social worker. Me. She started gossiping immediately, whispering to 2 other nurses that she thought Mr. Perfect charge nurse was cheating on his wife with the young social worker he just hugged. Worse? She said it wasn't the first time she'd seen us interact intimately. The worst part? She didn't just say we were having an affair. She acted disgusted. She said I seemed proud to flaunt it, that I giggled like someone showing off their man. One of the older nurses on the team, a nurse I've known since I started 5 years ago, heard the gossip and immediately came to me. She didn't like an N, clearly, and she was furious that someone would spread such a nasty and completely unfounded rumor. My stomach dropped. First, I laughed it off. But then I imagined the fallout. What if that rumor reached patients? My supervisor? What if someone thought I was involved in some kind of unethical affair with a married man who is also my dad? I debated it. Seriously. 4 hours that night, I played the what-if game in my head. Should I confront her? Ask her if she said those things. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Maybe she didn't mean harm. Maybe I could handle this the mature way, 111. But then I thought about the bigger picture. This wasn't just about me. It was about my reputation, my dad's career, my mom, who brings him lunch sometimes and is loved around the hospital. Wouldn't it be negligent of me to let this slide? What if she spread rumors about other people next time? Ultimately, I decided to go to HR. Not for revenge, but to protect myself and my family. Shar scheduled a joint meeting for me, my dad, and NN after our shifts. I was nervous, but I also felt justified. I hadn't done anything wrong. The HR rep, thankfully, already knew the truth that my dad is my biological father. That helped. NN walked into the room confidently, and then they asked her to explain. She did. She said she was deeply disturbed by what she had seen. She felt it was unethical and unprofessional. That she was shocked and disappointed in my dad's behavior. Then my dad calmly said, "She's my daughter. That's my kid. Her mom brings me lunch because we've been married for 28 years. And I love them both." The silence that followed was deafening. Ennen's face turned ghost white. She stammered. She apologized. Profusely. Said she'd misunderstood. Said she thought she was protecting the hospital. Tar dismissed my dad and me. We waited outside. An hour later, NN was terminated. Probationary period or not, the hospital saw this as slander, unprofessional conduct, and a risk to morale and team dynamics. That should have been the end. But then my mom got involved. First, she laughed when she heard what happened. She joked, "Well, guess you got your good looks from your old man." But then she stalked NN's Facebook and saw that she was a single mom. Young, with 2 kids under 10. And suddenly my mom changed her tune. She said I should have spoken to the nurse directly instead of going to HR. That maybe I'd ruined her life. She probably needed this job badly. She was probably just lonely or overwhelmed and made a mistake. And I started feeling it, that gnawing guilt. Even though I didn't do anything wrong, did I do the wrong thing? My dad hasn't said much. Which is weird because he usually always has something to say. He's the kind of guy who gives long-winded advice with sports analogies and movie quotes. But this time he was quiet. I asked him if he thought I overreacted. He said, "You did what you thought was right. Doesn't mean it doesn't suck. That's all." It's like he feels tainted by the whole thing. Like somehow being accused, even falsely, left a mark, like he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. And I hate that. Because we've always been close, and now there's this weirdness. So here I am. I didn't lie. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene. All I did was report gossip that could have wrecked my reputation and my father's. And yes, the nurse got fired. But only after doubling down and accusing us to our faces, even when she could have just admitted the mistake. Still, should I have spoken to her directly? Given her a chance to apologize first? Did I go nuclear when a conversation might have been enough? Was I protecting myself or retaliating? Was she genuinely trying to protect the hospital from what she thought was unethical behavior, or did she just like gossip? Should a single mom with a fresh start lose everything over a dumb mistake, or should professionals be held accountable no matter what? And what about the culture of nursing gossip? I've worked in hospitals long enough to know, this wasn't new, maybe I was just the first one to push back. I still work at the hospital. So does my dad. Ellen is gone. And part of me still wonders if her kids ask where she works now. I don't feel proud. I don't feel vindicated. I just feel confused about what justice looks like in messy human situations. where boundaries blur, emotions run high, and even the right choice can leave a sour taste. So I'll ask you truly, am I wrong for going to HR instead of just having a conversation with a nurse who thought I was sleeping with my dad? You be the judge. Drop your thoughts in the comments section below.